Welcome to the Robbins Regional Wrap, your one-stop shop for all your Houston County news. I'm Megan Western. Each week, we're taking you through what's happening in Houston County, Warner Robins, Robbins Air Force Base, and your very own neighborhood. This week, if you're an active duty service member at Robbins Air Force Base, you could get a big pay bump soon. Lawmakers passed a more than $900 billion National Defense Authorization Act. The bill puts pressure on Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth to release video from missile strikes near Venezuela. But once President Trump signs it into law, it would also fund the Department of Defense and include a nearly 4% pay raise for troops, including service members at Robbins Air Force Base. Elizabeth Hunter spoke to people in Warner Robins about what this increase means.
Over $4 billion. That's how much money Robbins Air Force Base pushes through the Houston County economy, according to the Air Force.
Oh man, it means a lot.
And with a 3.8% increase now heading to the pockets of over 5,000 servicemen and women, that economic impact is about to get bigger. Veteran Alonzo Sermons knows how it feels to get that raise.
It made me feel appreciated for the most part. You're serving your country, you're giving your life, putting your life on the line for this country. And it's a great feeling.
He says it boosts morale and helps their paychecks keep up with inflation.
This increase will just help them keep up with the cost of living.
Sermon says when soldiers and airmen make extra money, they have more to spend, which makes its way back into the local economy. Barbara Green agrees.
More people are out, more people are shopping, more people are happy, so I'm glad.
Green owns Golden Blessings gift shop in Warner Robins. She says during the 43-day federal government shutdown, her business saw less customers, but now they are back on track. She says it goes to show how much Warner Robins businesses rely on the base.
We want to continue to support them because they support us.
Green says she's happy to hear they are getting a raise because when the base workers thrive, so does the Warner Robins economy.
I am so happy for Middle Georgia and Robbins Air Force Base and our military families.
The president's signature is all that's needed on the bill before the raise can take effect. In Warner Robins, Elizabeth Hunter, 13 WMAZ News.
The pay raise isn't the only new money troops could see. Just last night, President Trump announced new warrior checks for troops. The president says the checks are already in the mail and implied they were funded by tariff revenue. Also this week, Warner Robins leaders hit pause on new liquor stores and vape shops in the city. City officials passed a 6-month moratorium, saying the number of those businesses is growing. Warner Robins now joins places like Macon, Perry, and Dublin. Macon and Dublin have moratoriums in place on vape shops, while Perry limited liquor store expansion. Warner Robins put a pause on both, with leaders saying they want time to review the rules before approving more. Jasmine Lee breaks down what led leaders to this decision.
This is one of several liquor and vape-related businesses here in Warner Robins, and how close some of them are is now part of a city council debate. From this view, you can see how close several liquor stores and vape businesses are located on the same street.
In all reality, we have enough liquor stores in town.
Robert Behringer has lived in Warner Robins for more than 50 years and believes the number of liquor stores has grown noticeably.
In my days, you would never put a liquor store next to a church. And I'm starting to see that liquor stores goes just anywhere now.
That's why the city is taking steps to slow the growth, pausing new licenses while they figure out where these businesses can operate responsibly. Back in September, Warner Robins put stricter rules in place to keep liquor stores from locating too close to each other. Still, since March 2023, they say 8 new liquor stores and 31 smoke shops have opened. The city now has 20 licensed liquor stores and 39 smoke shops, and the number continues to grow.
The tipping point was the large amount of complaints we keep getting in the community about the number of liquor stores we have that are popping up, the number of vape stores that are coming in our community.
The 6-month moratorium would give the city time to rework where those stores can operate and how many they can allow. So do we really need another store every few blocks? For some, the answer is clear.
I would like to see it permanent, but you got to start somewhere.
Reporting in Warner Robins, Jasmine Lee, 13 WMAZ News.
Now, counselors say that Houston County is winning the battle against overdose deaths, but the fight isn't over. This year, the county's recorded 20 overdose deaths. That's down more than half from 50 in 2023, down from 28 in 2024. Jasmine Lee sat down with a counselor to talk about what's working and what still needs to be done.
It's always great to see the numbers drop because that shows that we're on the right path.
Dr. Danielle Jones is the clinical director at Encompass Counseling and Mental Health Services in Warner Robins. She says increased awareness and available support are helping people take action before problems escalate.
A lot of times there is an awareness that there is an issue, be it mental health or a drug-related issue. However, communities lack those supportive services.
In 2023, Houston County saw 50 overdose deaths, and law enforcement seized 13,000 grams of fentanyl, enough to potentially kill millions. So how did the county start turning the tide? Jones says more people are using available resources that are making a difference in the community.
I think a lot of that is insurance companies providing EAP services, meaning free services for, people that are insured.
Since the start of 2024, 739 overdose calls have came into 911, with 28 deaths in 2024 and 20 so far this year, less than half of 2023.
I had a client come in, and the client was actually addicted to various substances, but the client wanted the help, and now that person is working, living a fulfilled life.
Now, her story shows how early intervention and consistent support can change lives. But even with declining deaths, many still face hurdles without proper mental health care.
A lot of times people, in the absence of proper mental health support, they resort to drug uses as a coping mechanism. So that still tends to be an issue at this time.
Reporting in Houston County, Jasmine Lee, 13 WMAZ News.
Drug use was a topic of conversation at this week's community town hall over in Warner Robins. The police department met with neighbors to hear concerns and discuss public safety. Police Chief Wayne Fisher and a panel of 8 officers led that meeting. On top of drug use, people also talked about traffic, ticketing, and reckless driving. Chief Fisher told us he's glad the community came out to talk about their concerns because the input helps the police department better serve the community.
The thing we wish to stress and engage with the community about is we are the community are the police, and we work together synergistically with each other, and that we as a community will only be as strong as we potentially can be through these relationships that we forge and continue to have.
And we need to give you a heads up that some changes are in store for homeowners in the new year. If your insurance company drops you, you'll soon have more time to figure out what to do next. It's one of 2 new laws aimed at helping homeowners deal with rising insurance costs and surprise cancellations. Hunter King shares more.
My roof is not terrible.
Autumn Stiliano thought she was doing everything right. She took care of her Houston County home. She kept up with repairs and paid her insurance on time. Then last December, a letter showed up in her mailbox.
And they were basically saying that if we did not replace our entire roof, that they were going to just drop coverage on us.
The roof was only 6 years old. Autumn hired 3 different roofing companies to inspect it. She even paid $200 for one of those inspections. All 3 of them said the same thing, though. Nothing is wrong with your roof.
But at the time, it was very scary when it happened. I was a new homeowner. I'd never had that happen before.
Mercury Insurance dropped her anyway. Autumn says she got lucky, though. She found cheaper coverage with another company before they officially cut her off. State Senator Larry Walker spent 30 years selling insurance, and he says a lot of people aren't so lucky.
There were situations where the policyholder may not only have like 2 weeks notice by the time they got the notice in the mail. So just a very simple, straightforward solution to try to give more protection for Georgians.
Starting January 1st, insurance companies have to give you 60 days notice before they drop you, which is double what it used to be. Walker says it gives people time to shop around or fix whatever the problem the company flagged. Another new law tries to help with those rising premiums. It lets you set up a special savings account for disaster expenses. You get a tax break when you put money in, and you don't pay taxes when you take it out for storm damage. As for Autumn, she'll stick with paying higher premiums, but she's glad people have options now. She's hoping lawmakers keep pushing for more protections after storms like Helene. In Houston County, Hunter King, 13 WMAZ News.
The 60-day notice law applies to all homeowners policies issued or renewed after January the 1st. The disaster savings account starts for the 2026 tax year. Meanwhile, a Warner Robins family says they're facing another major loss. Fire destroyed Amy Wells and Tess Roberts' home in 2024. Later, people donated belongings to help them get back on their feet once they had a new home. But this summer, someone broke in and stole it all. And now they're dealing with insurance and the storage company, but still aren't reimbursed. Jasmine Lee spoke with the family, who say they're still searching for answers.
Supposed to be lost.
It only took a few seconds for Amy Wells to show just how easy it was to break into her storage unit, a place she thought would keep her family's life safe.
It's hard when you don't have anything, and then what little bit you do have, you have to shift around.
After losing their home in 2024, Amy and her mother, Tess Roberts, started donating clothing, furniture, and personal items at Storage Rentals of America. What was meant to help them rebuild turned into another loss. Everything inside was stolen.
So sad because, we had taken time to try to get what we needed to get back, to a comfortable place.
It's a feeling no family wants to go through. The family had insurance through the storage facility, but they say the company still refuses to pay. Amy showed us proof of payment, but the police report has moved slowly, leaving them with nothing and no answers.
5 different times they said, come get the incident report and fill it out. Bring it, go get the police report, bring it, blah, blah, whatever. 5 different times I've done that, and every time they say they've lost it.
Now, the storage facility advertises 24/7 video surveillance, but Wells says the cameras don't work, leaving no record of the theft.
They're not even hooked up. They're just up there, but they're not even hooked up.
For Wells and her mother, it's more than items stolen. It's the feeling of having nowhere to turn and a family trying to piece life back together. They say every item stolen was more than furniture. It was hope, stability, and the first steps back to normal.
But they stole everything that we had out of this building, and I'm sure we're not the only people.
Reporting in Warner Robins, Jasmine Lee, 13 WMAZ News.
The Better Business Bureau says when renting a storage unit, make sure your insurance is active and document your belongings before you store them. We reached out to the company but have not heard back yet. Also this week, Houston County's boomtown growth is keeping first responders on their toes. Fire and EMA crews say calls are slowly climbing each year as the county's population and development continue to rise. In the past month alone, we've told you about multiple fires in the area. One week, an RV caught fire on North Davis Drive. The day before that, there was a fire on Shamrock Circle, displacing 4 people. And in November, there was another house fire on Highway 247. Now, county leaders are trying to figure out how to battle the growing trend. Elizabeth Hunter talked with Houston County's fire chief about how they're keeping up.
The door may be closing on another year, but first responders aren't slowing down.
It's busier than ever.
Lieutenant Kendall Marzal has been with Houston County Fire and EMA for 16 years. He says since he started in 2009, the calls have seen a drastic increase.
From then to now, we probably ran 2,000 calls to now running over 5,000 calls a year.
The department is on track to run 5,300 calls this year. Marzal says he's run 1,500 of them.
If you're heavily populated, you're going to run more calls.
He says they couldn't handle that number of calls without the increase in staff. Fire Chief and EMA Director Chris Stoner says they are finishing the training of 9 new firefighters that will let them staff all 8 fire stations 24/7.
Having those additional staff there will tremendously improve response times.
Stoner says in 2016 they had only 14 full-time firefighters. Now they have 45. This year, the department also got 2 new trucks.
We actually put one of those in service a couple days ago.
The first truck took to the road Monday. Stoner says the second will be in service by the new year. He says their big goal for 2026 is to get their new EMA warehouse finished.
Being able to relocate all of our disaster supplies into a facility that was purpose-built for maintaining that.
Stoner says they expect the county to keep growing and the department will keep expanding to meet those needs. In Houston County, Elizabeth Hunter, 13 WMAZ News.
According to the U.S. Census, Houston County's population has increased by 12,000 since 2020. That's about an 8% increase. Now, from house fires to car crashes, Houston County 911 has dispatched nearly 250,000 calls this year. Elizabeth Hunter went to the 911 center and shares how the team behind the phones are managing the constant emergencies.
It's the nerve center of every emergency.
Without them, I don't know what we'd be doing.
Keith Kendall knows firsthand how important it is to have an efficient 911 center.
She was just laying on the floor screaming, and I've got to get you to the hospital where I can't live to.
Several months ago, Kendall's wife had a medical emergency. He had to call 911 to get her to the hospital.
EMS arrived, and they took her to the ER and fixed her up, ended up transferring her for surgery up in Emory and Warner Robins. It was pretty serious.
Kendall says 911 dispatched a unit to their home in less than a minute, and help arrived about 5 minutes later.
The level of proficiency and professionalism just knocks me out.
Houston 911, what's that, our severe emergency?
Major Mickey Quinones with Houston County 911 says they answer about 15% more calls now than they did 5 years ago. That's about 38,000 more calls than in 2020. She says 911 has had to stay ahead of the county's growth by adding new staff and updating technology.
We were given 4 new full-time communication officers.
Quinones says updated mapping has helped keep their dispatch times low. The maps use color coordination and icons to visually tell dispatchers about the emergency and units nearby.
If that icon is a certain color, that tells us whether that unit's out of service, in service, en route to a call, on scene at a call.
She says they also have tracking tools on each patrol car, fire truck, and ambulance, as well as every officer, fireman, and EMT. In Houston County, Elizabeth Hunter, 13 WMAZ News.
Now, County Commission set aside more than $3 million to upgrade its 911 center to a next generation system by 2030. And Warner Robins city leaders are taking action on blight across the city, targeting the older neighborhoods where vacant and run-down properties have piled up. Mayor LaRhonda Patrick says the city plans to go to court in January to take ownership of 6 homes, which they hope to demolish. They're also stepping back on a commercial property on North Houston Road, which is under contract to be sold to a private buyer. Jasmine Lee takes a closer look at those properties and what it means for your neighborhood.
It's an eyesore. When people look at this, you see this is an eyesore.
Louise McBride has lived in Warner Robins for nearly 48 years. For her, neighborhoods like these have seen better days. Vacant homes, trash piling up, and empty buildings deteriorating.
It's more blight now on the streets than ever. So we need to get out here and get it cleaned up and get back working.
And she's not alone in seeing the problem. City leaders say blighted homes are the biggest concern. From June to November, people reported nearly 1,000 new blighted cases, and about 30 remain open.
Cases come from residences who need to clean up outside of their house.
Mayor LaRhonda Patrick says the city is taking action with 6 residential properties slated for demolition pending court approval in January. They also have a contract to sell a blighted commercial property on North Houston Road.
That's a great thing. That's a good win for the city to see these properties potentially become under our ownership so we could tear them down and get rid of the blight in our communities.
For McBride, it's about seeing change happen. She wants the city to turn empty buildings into safe, clean spaces that neighbors can be proud of.
We don't need this in our community. It's been here 2 weeks.
McBride remembers when Warner Robins had a blight committee to document problems and push cleanups. She says reviving efforts like that could help keep neighborhoods safe and well maintained.
I want the city to pick up. Like some of these buildings have been here a long time, no one has lived in them, no one has used them. They should be torn down.
Reporting in Warner Robins, Jasmine Lee, 13 WMAZ News.
And this week we have some cool news out of Perry High School. The band is headed to New Orleans in just under 2 weeks. They'll be spending a week showcasing their talent on a national stage as they march in the Sugar Bowl parade and compete against bands from across the country. The trip carries extra excitement with the Georgia Bulldogs set to play in the game on New Year's Day. Our education reporter Naomi Washington checked in with the band as they fit in some final practices before their travels.
The sound of practice filling the band room as students prepare for a performance opportunity few high school bands ever get.
This was not a parade we applied for. They reached out to me like, hey, we've seen your band. We think you'd be a great fit for this.
Band director Rob Ingram says being invited to the Sugar Bowl parade reflects years of hard work.
It just speaks volumes about what the kids do and their dedication and passion to do this.
11th grader Livy Hurst says the bond between her bandmates will make the experience special.
I really love the family atmosphere that we have here. I feel like everybody really cares about each other on a deeper level, and if somebody needed something, they'd have a lot of people and a good network to come to.
As soon as the band gets to New Orleans, they'll have a jam-packed schedule. They'll perform their signature halftime routine at the Battle of the Bands, play at Jackson Square Park, and march in the Sugar Bowl parade on New Year's Eve. Usually the band's season ends in the fall, but Chloe Wheeler says the extra time together means a lot to her as a senior.
To know that it's coming to like an actual end and I won't be back here with the people again, it's very, bittersweet because I'll get to cheer them on from the side, but I won't be a part of it anymore.
While the band won't perform during the Sugar Bowl game on New Year's Day, students say just being a part of the week-long celebration is worth the hard work.
It's going to be judged, so there's going to be a ton of other bands there, and we get to be judged on our marching technique and playing and how well we play and everything else, so it's very exciting.
From final practices in Perry to a national stage in New Orleans, these students are ready to make some more noise.
Alrighty, we are sending the best of wishes to the Perry High School band as they compete against dozens of other bands on their trip. The Georgia Bulldogs will face off in the Sugar Bowl on New Year's Day. And after a weather delay, holiday spirit finally filled the streets of Warner Robins. Under sunny skies, the city celebrated its annual Christmas parade. There were floats, marching bands, and community groups that made their way down Davis Drive and Watson Boulevard, greeted by the smiling crowds. This year's Grand Marshal was Special Olympics champion and advocate Kelsey Norris. The parade brought together families, schools, businesses, and local leaders. For many, it's about more than just having holiday fun. People in the community say they grew up going to the parade, and it creates memories that last for generations.
It's something that they will remember. And I told a group of kids earlier, the state championship 10 and under football team, I said, you'll remember this for the rest of your life. Trust me, because I was in your shoes and I remember it. And so it creates a legacy, something they can pass on to their children once they're adults.
Now, if you missed the parade, that's no worries. Connor and I were out there streaming that. You can watch the recap right here on 13 WMAZ+. Now, over in Centerville, the Christmas parade brought out the crowds and that holiday cheer. After the Warner Robins Christmas parade, I stopped by Centerville, and it was such a good time. Families lined the streets as every single float tossed out candy to all the kids. Local clubs and school groups and community leaders all joined in, like Olympia Skate, the Middle Georgia Broncos Club, even the Buddy the Elf made an appearance out there. Mayor J. Michael Evans helped lead the way, and of course Santa wrapped it all up in style with a sleigh full of smiles, and even a few playful Grinches were running by. Now, if you're looking for some more Christmas fun, you can head out to the silos in Fort Valley. This is video from last year where cars drove through a festive light show. Catch that show most nights through 10 o'clock. They are off of Highway 42. And you can also check out an airman at Robins Air Force Base. They spread holiday cheer in the community by hosting the first ever Angel Tree Drive. Check this out. It's part of Operation Warm Heart. The team adopted dozens of angels from Fagan Mill Middle School, children from families facing financial hardship. In all, the airmen raised about $1,800 to buy toys and clothes.
What we want to do is we want to be able to fill in and make sure that all our kids in the community are taken care of. We want to give back because we want to make sure that everyone is taken care of. It is something that we all sign up to do, it's something that we all love to do, and it's something that needs to be done.
Very sweet initiative. They were able to help about 35 students and their siblings this Christmas season. Alrighty, before we let you go, here are some events that are happening throughout the Robins region. Start thinking about your New Year's plans because you can celebrate in Perry during the annual Buzzard Drop. That drop kicks off at 8 p.m. You're going to find live music, tasty food, and plenty of fun for the whole family. There's a special kitty countdown that starts at 9 so little ones can celebrate before bedtime. At midnight, the sky lights up with fireworks to welcome in 2026. And if you need a safe ride home, Perry Police will be running courtesy shuttles if you live within city limits. Now, if you live in Peach County or the eastern part of Houston County, you are probably eligible to vote in the special election for the Senate District 18 seat. You'll see 6 names on the ballot, including former Forsyth Mayor Eric Wilson. He faces 4 other Republicans, Nathan Warnock, Stephen McNeil, Lauren Daniel, and Howard Allison, the sole Democratic candidate being Lamario Brown. All of those candidates are invited to a debate in Monroe County on December the 29th. That's going to start at 7 p.m. over at Forsyth City Hall. So if you'd like to meet the candidates and know who you're voting for, you're going to want to go check that out. Election Day is set for January the 20th. Alrighty, that's a wrap on what's happening throughout the Robbins region this week. If you have a Houston County story you want to share with us, go ahead and email us at news@13wmaz.com. And make sure you keep coming back each Friday to get all the Houston County news and the stories that matter to you. Thanks for joining us.